should just create one slide. We should just use one slide. So basically, I'll be presenting, and yeah. So let's start with it. GSOD, the what, the why, the hows by Amarachi and Funke. Please, can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, all right, cool. I'll start with the introduction. My name is Amarachi Ihnacho. I'm a front-end engineer. I'm a community documentation lead at Moja Global and a technical writer at Hackmamba. I'm also the co-organizer for Write the Docs Nigeria, which you can check out. It's a community centered around documentation and technical writing. Yeah, follow them on Twitter. Let me plug in the Twitter. So yeah, this is basically it. But we'll share the slides later. You can follow me on Twitter at Amarachi Ihnacho, LinkedIn Amarachi Ihnacho, Linktree Amarachi Ihnacho. We'll share the slides later, basically. So yeah, Funke, I think you'd want to. Do you want to introduce yourself now when you start talking?
No, fine. Hi, everybody. Good evening, guys. My name is Funke. I am the backend developer, technical writer. I work at the chat. Talk to me about open source, technical writing and community, which is basically why we're here. Women Technicals Ambassador, and you can follow me on Twitter. I literally contains all like the documentation pieces, or most of the documentation
Yeah, yeah,
pieces we
yeah,
have.
yeah, definitely. Sorry,
So
I forgot
yeah.
to mention that. You have the floor. Let me mute my mic before.
Cool. This one, the what, right? So I'm sure that a lot of us have heard about Google season of dogs or Google summer of codes, right? Google season of dogs. For those that know Google summer of codes and don't know Google season of dogs, just think about Google summer of codes as a program that is just like Google summer of codes, but for technical writers and for documentation engineers. So GitHub is an annual paid internship program by Google that allows tech writers to have to foster their career and boost their open source contributions while paying them for it. So in GitHub, these open source projects are in need of a technical writing service. They have a particular project, a documentation project that they would like to work on, and then they submit an application to Google and say, hey, I'm interested in participating in GitHub this year. And they pitch their budgets and everything. It's open source, so everything about it, the project they're building, the amount they're asking for, everything is open, right? And then if Google accepts these organizations, Google releases a list and says, okay, this set of people we have decided to, sponsor these companies or pay for tech characters for these companies. So all tech characters all across the globe, you can apply to these companies, and if you get selected, you continue with the program. So you're paired with a mentor to work for a period of 3 to 6 months, depending on the timeline of the project, to improve that particular open source documentation. So it's paid. I think I'm actually talk about the amounts and ranges later. So today's discussion basically is going to be about what is Google season of docs? Why should you do Google season of docs if you're a technical writer, right? So why should you participate in Google season of docs? Google season of docs allows you to make meaningful contributions to global projects. So if you're a technical writer that has been writing articles, just trying to push yourself and have pieces on dev.to, Hashnode and stuff. Google season of docs allows you to Google season of docs allows you to experience how it works as a technical writer or as a documentation engineer in bigger organizations, right? A lot of us have technical writing as our side skill. For a lot of us, some of us are engineers primarily, but Ghosting of Docs allows us to experience the entire documentation ecosystem, right? And you can get familiar with companies, open source companies, how technical writing experience as a whole works through time, right? You have access to expert mentors to expand your network. One great thing about those docs is the fact that they don't just throw you into the fish and say, go and figure it out, right? They also pay mentors. So a mentor is assigned to you that is currently in the organization or, is familiar with that organization and then that mentor will be able to work with you to improve that particular project. Right. So another huge benefit, you get paid between 5,000. Some people get paid like $9,000 and above for Google Season of Docs. Depends on the budget. Like I said, everything is open source. If you go to Google Season of Docs website, you will see what the company is switching for, what their project is, how much they're willing to pay, how many technical writers they're looking for. Right. And it's an amazing way to strengthen your resume. So, for example, I did get Google Season of Docs last year. I was open to technical writing roles after Google Season of Docs. And whenever I have to interview for something, I'm telling them, oh, I had this 6 to 8 months at this particular company where I did this under Google Season of Docs. I mean, whenever like hearing Google and all that, it gives your resume like strength. So these are some reasons why you should participate in Google Season of Docs. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, great. Yeah, Funke like covered it all. So basically, I'm just going to start with who should apply to Google Season of Dogs, because you get paid 5K US dollars, so and above. Some people get paid 9K, 10K, right? So who should what should you have before applying? You should have a somewhat solid technical background. I'm not saying you should be like a genius or something, but you should have experience writing codes or using the tech stack that company like is using. Maybe if it's a company centered around Linux or C++ or something, you should have a somewhat solid experience on that tech stack, because how could you write about something that you don't necessarily know? But some other companies, they don't, is the documentation is not technical based. Maybe they want you to create whatever, but you should have, it's always, to be on the safer side, you should have a somewhat solid technical background. You should also have a solid technical writing background, as Funke explained before, for you to have a better chance at getting in. As with any job or internship, you should have something that proves that like you should be in that space. Like you should have written blogs. Technical documentation is very optional, but it could definitely help. So before you apply, if you've not written, it's always good practice to write a couple of blogs, have your friend review them, put them out. Also, you should sound enthusiastic about making open source contributions and everything. Also, if you've made open source contributions before applying, that would be a plus. Also, when applying, even though I'm going to get into this later, you should already, to increase your chances of getting in, you should already contribute to like the organization's code base. But I'm going to get into it later. Sorry, the application, to show that okay, this is something that I'm interested in, to apply and to actually have a chance of getting in. First of all, start with the easy part, create a pull request here. So basically this is the GitHub repository, right? Interested technical writers, you have a bunch of people that are interested in what's it called, in participating in this year's Google Season of Docs. All of them, they've created a pull request with their names, their portfolio, what they're interested in writing, and you should start there first. Although this doesn't guarantee anything, because a lot of organizations do not go here and pick people, but you should do that first of all. Secondly, um, according to the Google timeline, this timeline, right? The list of organizations that Google accepts into this program, like Funke mentioned before, organizations submit to Google that they want to participate in Google Season of Talks. Google releases a list of organizations they've accepted, so that um, technical writers that are interested in working with any of these organizations can start to submit the application. The organizations is going to be, Google is going to publish a list of organizations March 31st, 2023. Accepted the official list. So far, this is the list of the organizations interested. Although it's going to grow, it's going to become a lot larger. But yeah, this is the list of organizations. Once Google releases that list, you go through any organization that, okay, maybe I want to write for a sync API, I want to write for Moja Global, Rocket Chat. You go through and you study different organizations and figure out like the ones you are interested in, maybe one or two, right? To be on the safer side, apply. Maybe you can apply to two. You join their community channels, like if it's Slack, Discord, so you can be able to communicate properly with the mentors. It's always good that you are not really in their face, right? It's always good that you are seen. If you make contributions, be like, okay, I made contributions. What do you think? Ask questions, communicate with your mentors, let them see you, right? Then when you do that, study their documentation, their writing styles. So just study it, their documentation, so that you can make proper contribution to the documentation. The thing about making contribution to the documentation is that it's not about let me make like 15 contributions, and 15 contributions is basically maybe adding comma, removing, like changing, although that's cute, like it's cute, but you're not going to surpass somebody that went in there hungry and hell as, like I give this example. I applied for Moja Global, and the second person, because they accepted two technical writers, the second person they accepted had been working with Moja Global for over a year. So if somebody came in like doing frivolous contributions, they probably would have not entered. Write and submit a proposal. I wrote optional here because I heard of organizations like ACKPI and others that did not accept proposals, so they did an interview process. Then me, at Moja Global, we did not do any interview process, so both are optional, but it depends on what your organization wants. Then the proposal, right? The proposal, first of all, research the organization background, right? Tell a backstory. Tell, sound interested, even though you don't care, even if you don't care about this thing, right? Just sound interested on why you be like you understand how job applications are, why you are interested in this organization, why you would make a good fit, why you've been enthusiastic about open source, so that they'll just say, oh, she would not bail on us halfway. Great. Understand the pain point. Understand what, because when a company um when they, let me show you, open it up. When they submit proposals, they always give points on what they want to improve in their documentation. Well, so you can go through what they want to improve and like tailor your proposals to talk about how you're going to like how you're going to solve these problems, how you're going to be better. You acknowledge you acknowledge what they've done, everything. Speak to their engineers, speak to people, make contributions, tell them, okay, you've used this documentation, you understand like the pain points, you understand. Just tailor your proposal to the organization, make it seem like you are intimate with the documentation. Even exactly, engage with your mentors, get feedback, even though you do not need their feedback, but you do need their feedback, even though you don't necessarily care about what they are saying. Just be seen. Iter- Iterate on the feedback. If they give you feedback on your proposal that, oh, do this, do that, re- take it, take the feedback, rinse and repeat until the application closes. Anyway, to have a better understanding, here's the proposal I submitted for Moja Global. Right. So, in this proposal, I highlight why I'm interested in this open, in whatever open. I understood, blah 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 blah. I was just going on. Then I was like, I gave them my experience. I've been writing API documentation and everything. I'm sorry, my grandma is going off because it's an annoying ass person. Then exactly how I figure how I'm going to combat it. I was like, identify knowledge gaps and everything. So basically, then I just gave summary, then the timeline, what I'm going to achieve in a week and everything. So I broke it down. I mean, it's more believable like this. Then my past open source contributions, which is basically what I've done. I created user stories. I wrote, I created user stories for each of their tools. I wrote a terminology like and I won't say dictionary or something because fit like the organization had very insane terminologies. I wrote technical articles, I wrote all these things, and I wrote my mentor. So basically, all this would be part of um the slide, so you can check it out. I think I'm going to take on the interview process. So you just come on.
All right. So before I talk about the interview process, I just also want to like add a few things to what Amarachi said, right? So in the interview process, it's basically just like your proposal, but like she said, some companies don't want to be reading, sitting down and reading 300 plus proposals. So they opt for a 15 minutes interview, a 30 minutes interview, and they pitch, and they figure out who they want, right? So but then before the interview, just like she has said, what's one thing you want to do? Right? Companies don't want to take a chance of people that are not familiar with their product or with the software that they're working on. So take time before season of dogs. Season of dogs announcement is like March. In January, you could before season of dogs announce the organizations that they're interested in. You can also go ahead and look out for organizations that contribute to season of dogs yearly. There are some organizations that every year they have new projects that they want to do in season of dogs, and luckily they are getting accepted for it. So organizations like Chaos, I don't know about Moja, but I know Moja does outreach and season of dogs too. So there are companies that there are companies that already have like a proven track record already. So you do that and you can get familiar with a particular product. Then when you try use their softwares also, let the I'm actually said something, you want to be seen, right? Someone that has been working on a particular product over a while and another person that just comes on board because of season of jobs application, they're more likely to pick the person that is more close to their product. Do you get? So you want to be familiar with this product, you want to be able to use the product, have feedback, have contributed to the jobs productively, not just it's cool to do typos, to fix grammatical errors and all. But then you want to contribute, you want to see the documentation issues that they have. They should see your enthusiasm and your interest in their project, right? And then contribute to the project at least once, get feedback from people that have used the product. So one thing you want to do for your proposal or your interview is, apart from what you experience, find out from people that have used the product or have experienced the product before, get their feedback. What do they think that would be better or would help the documentation work better for them? It should be part of the things that you're pitching in your proposal or your interview. So now during your interview, somebody gave me a very like amazing hack for interviews, which is something he's even in this call, which is something I would like to like highlight, right? So after a brief introduction about yourself, what you do and all that, one thing you want to do is to highlight, okay, this is the writing role that you're pitching for. So prioritize your writing skills, highlight your writing skills, and this is a community thing and your community contributions. Put it in their face. Oh, I have written for Dev.2, I've written for Twilio, I have installed blogs, and I have so number of articles on FreeCodeCamp and the FreeCodeCamp staff. Pitch yourself, right? And then your community contributions. I don't know, but I prefer interviews because it's more engaging. People sitting down to read 1,001 proposals is like you won't get to express yourself so well. So for an interview, you can express yourself so well. So highlight your writing skills, your community contributions. Then, if you have speaking skills or engineering skills, I would like to say even engineering before speaking skills, especially if it's a product that is more engineering stated, like a whole lot of the products, you need to be able to understand, have some technical concept, have some technical background. It's really important. If not, you'll be lost, right? You should understand, okay, maybe the stack that project is used, even if it's basic knowledge, so that you'll be able to interact with the product. And because you're writing for, say, a Python developer to integrate Rocket.chat in an SDK or something, you need to have basic understanding of how, if not Python, maybe another programming language that is similar. So you could be able to probably write a tutorial about it, that kind of thing. So highlight your engineering skills. Oh, I have these skills, I have worked here, and I have worked here with these skills. I've spoken at this. If that's why I put optional, those two ones are optional, right? So after highlighting those things, then you come to proposing your goal for the project. When the project is announced, you will be able to see, you will see what they want. what particular, I mean, open source companies have so many projects, right? So you would see what they want. You'd see, oh, we want to work on this particular project. We're looking, for example, for the organization I worked for, they were keen on API docs. They had a very crappy API documentation, and they wanted to follow open API standards. They wanted to follow open API standards this time. Yeah. So I had to, okay, I had no idea what Open API is. Let me start from there. I had no idea who these people were, right? So one thing I did was to get familiar with their product. They didn't have a documentation that was easy. So it was just like, but then I was asking questions on the documentation channel. Like I was showing my face, like, okay. I was interested in actually this product or project, and I was even telling Joel that at that time that even if we did not enter that last year, we use this year and learn how to season of ducks is, and when it's 2023, we use all the force and all the experience that we have gathered over the years to apply for season of ducks proper. So that year was test the waters. So propose your goals for the project. Oh, you'd like to do this. I also added a link to the Roots proposal for KSA Character. It's a proposal that is so detailed and it can work for your interviews too. Let them know how you would approach the problem that they're having. Give them timelines, right? Tell them why you are the right person for the role. And you could do this all under the few minutes that you have for your interview. And then when they're done, also find out what, apart from what they have written, what else do they expect from you in that role, right? What else are they looking forward? If you say that, oh, they wrote, okay, for example, the company I worked with wrote that they needed API docs, right? In my pitch, I was like, okay, we'll do API docs. I will also do tutorials. We'll also be able, if there is time, we'll also be able to show people how to integrate the API, use the SDKs that are available. We'll also have explanations, guides, aside from the API docs, right? So pitch yourself, propose your goals, and let your goals fit what they want for the project, right? So that's how to like get yourself familiar with the interview or with the proposal, whichever one the organization is after. But one very important thing you should know is get familiar and get involved with that product. It's very important, it's very essential in everybody's journey through season of dogs. If you look through track record, they were involved with the product, they were interested in the product, the maintainers were aware of their interest in the product, and it was one of the cool things that got them into the program. Yes. So next, yeah. Closing remarks. Before the closing remarks, I think we are going to have questions. Try to keep space for a lot of questions, and then any other concerns. I don't know much if you have something to say for
Nah,
questions.
I'm just like waiting for any question. But definitely, I feel like it's really important, right? To get familiar with the product, with the project or whatever. And as Funke said, and and as also said, this scene, like you genuinely don't know. I remember because I tried to apply with my friends and I was complaining that, oh my goodness, this is a lot of work because I applied to like two different organizations and to do this for both of them was really but I went all the way to like connect to them on LinkedIn, follow them on Twitter, and I was like hyping them. Even if I did not even completely read their post or anything, but you'd want to be seen, you'd want to do actual work and stuff like that. So that was the thing, right? But if you have any questions, any at all, you can ask Funke and me.
Yeah, thank you very very much. Please, if you have your questions, you can either, if you don't want to speak, you can either drop them in the chat. I'll read them, or if okay, or you can raise up your hand. So we'll start with Ibrahim.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much, Amarachi and Funke. So my question is like when Amarachi was presenting her own part, so she talked about you having technical knowledge. Now let's say for instance we are into data and the tools that we use basically are like no code tools, right? We don't use like all these JavaScript, all these technical programming language. I want to ask like does like is there a way someone can contribute to like GSOD as well, being in the data space? That's my question.
Um, yeah, like there are some documentation that don't require you to be like to be very technical. I think there was one I got into, but I had to leave it. Is it palidosis or something? They didn't really want like somebody extremely technical. They just wanted somebody that could write. But if you're going to if you but it just depends on where who you're applying to. I think officially to should calm down. It just depends on where you're applying. If the place you're applying to wants somebody with technical knowledge or would require somebody with technical knowledge, it just makes sense that you'd have technical knowledge. Even if you don't have technical knowledge and you applied, someone with technical knowledge is more likely to get the gig before you. Do you understand? Do you get me?
Okay, yeah, thank you so much.
Right. Afuka, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think you answered it quite well. Someone is asking on the group, sorry to attend before you talk. Someone is asking on the group that the person has zero idea about open source. I suspected we'll have that kind of audience too. Has zero idea about open source or what it means, and they want to know how it relates to being a developer. So I'm actually going to take that.
I just basically open Wikipedia right now. So, right. Open source software is a software that like everybody has the right to use, study, and change. So there are some code bases that anybody like you can create pull requests to change something or to fix something. Maybe they have a list of issues or something that is wrong with the software, list of or things that are wrong with the documentation. Some people allow people to be like, okay, submit pull requests, then people from the company will like review the pull request and accept it. So basically, everybody can contribute, change, or use the software for any purpose according to Wikipedia. It's always good to Google things so that I don't know if you get me. Do you understand who asked the question?
Yeah, someone just asked in the chat.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's basically what open source software is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the hand okay.
Yeah. What did you say, Fuke? Sorry.
Oh,
Let me.
I'm saying that we have someone raising up their hands here. So I don't know if that's a mistake or the person can't at all.
Okay, sorry, I think that should be me. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on.
Okay, so my question is not really GSOT specific, it's just with technical writing in general. So I believe is a skill that can be learned too, because personally I don't really like writing, like sitting down to write, but I just want to learn it. Based on when you write, it actually makes you understand things better and then it brings you out there, like when you share your blog. So is any like a hack to learning and loving to write? These two things actually like a personal problem to me, but I want to improve on it. I write, yes, I write currently. I have some blogs, but I just want to like improve on the writing per se. So is there any like a hack to it? I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know if you got my question.
Okay.
Actually,
I,
yeah, I got your
yeah.
question. Do
All
you
right.
want to
All
go
right.
first?
No, no, don't worry.
Okay. So, first of all, yes, writing can be learned. Not everybody likes to sit down to write. You say you have blogs. Are you writing technical content? That's the first question I want to ask you. Are you writing technical things? Right. Content you
Yes,
have.
yes. Like when I read up on something and then I feel like, oh, I actually like this and I can explain it, I just write it.
Okay, cool. Right, that's one step into it. But one thing I always like to advise technical writers is have technical experience. It's a whole lot better that way. That's where the jobs are. That's where the money is and everything. Have technical experience. So one thing you can do is you're trying to learn something, right? Any part of your technical, expertise, you learn something. I think for me it was, oh, I was having issues. I was trying to write code. I learned how to implement this and this, and I come and I write an article about it. Not because of any drama, but I just wanted to write gain disability at all. At that time, I'm not even sure I knew that there was a role called technical writing. So learn something, or you're learning something, or you know something, you want to teach, you want to tell people about it, right? So that's a good place to start. So if you're enthusiastic about sharing knowledge, you will get the drive, you will be more involved, you get pushed to, put more content out there. So it's a skill that can be honed, because at first your first draft can be very crappy. You can give it to somebody to review, someone with a bigger experience or something. And the more they review, the more they tell you things to watch out for. The next time you're writing your next article, you're watching out for those things. And they review again, and there's more things to look out for. And like that, like that, like that. That's how it goes. And that's how you become better at it. But then, like, there's this stuff they just used to do. I mean, started this year. One article a week, something like that. One article a week. You could do that, one article in 2 weeks. You could do that. And consistency, I just believe that something above all things, if you're consistent with something, you'll be good at it. You will learn it over time and you'll be great at it. Yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, I've noted it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Also, sorry,
So yeah.
please a quick one. Next week we're going to have like a session on technical writing. Idris is going to be speaking, so you could actually like stop by, like to like learn more about technical writing. But like they answered the question properly.
Yeah, Funke answered it basically, and it might incentivize you to like to write more if you know that you're making money from it, or if you make money from it. So that's basically it. So yeah.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. If you know that it's something that gives you cash, you'll have to do it over and over again. So yes, yes, yes. So
yeah,
any other
that
questions?
that's
yeah. There's a question in the chat by
Okay.
Olarinwaju. Can you contribute to open source without being a technical writer?
Yes.
that okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can
definitely.
contribute.
What are we doing? But yeah, definitely. Yeah, like Google Summer of Code is mostly for like coding. Like you can get this basically this definition said software or whatever computer software, and so a lot of the software you use are probably open source. So yeah, you can as a developer you can you can contribute to open source. Google Summer of Code, MLH.
Outreach. Outreach is also a good base.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe for network. Outreach is also a good place to contribute to. So even designers are finding their space in open source right now. People with advocacy skills are finding their space. Community managers are finding their space in open source right now. So yes, you can contribute to open source aside technical writing. Um,
I see Ibrahim saying people that get into GSOD and GDS lead. No, um, correlation does not cause does not mean causation. I feel like a lot of people that enter Google Season of Docs low key want to be developer advocate. That's why you see them leading
yeah,
communities.
yeah.
Exactly. So because you see them leading communities entering GSOD, that doesn't mean that it's a requirement. It's just on the same path. They're just gathering them like Thanos. So no, you can you can enter GSOC. They do not care that you're a GDS leader. I'll tell you that right now for free. They do not care.
I'm not even sure that they knew I was a GDS lead at the time. If I would say, yes.
Okay. Temitope Oyedele has his hand up, so you can ask your question.
Okay, thank you. My question goes to Funke. Funke, you talked on API documentation the other time. So I wanted to ask, were you, before you were picked in your last G-Shot, were you given any task at all on API documentation, maybe to just do? Because I think I heard some companies before they didn't do the interview, they just like gave those that apply some tasks to do, and then they checked for the best one. So I wanted to ask, were you given any task on API documentation or anything?
Oh no, I'm not sure people were giving tasks. It's the first time I'm hearing, but I know that they want you to contribute. They want you to contribute. They want you to contribute to, whatever their current problem is, and they will see what your level of contribution and gauge upon it. But specific task, it's the first time I'm hearing it. But for my own, I didn't have to. I'm not sure I even submitted anything API related. Nah, I didn't. I didn't. But probably because I had also back-end experience, so they said there would definitely be a correlation or something. But no, and what I worked on wasn't the regular API docs, right? I had been doing API docs, basic command document with Postmaster and content can consume. But this time around, it was different. It was Open API, and Open API somewhat wants to be like code because you're writing YML, especially when you're writing it from scratch. So, I didn't have to do a task. I just had to submit, do my interview, so fill a form basically, and had an interview. That was it.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we have two questions. Olarinwaju and Obialo. So you can, I think Olarinwaju said, please, what are the major benefits of GSOD? And the second question, Michael, how do I get started with technical writing? Okay.
So maybe I'll take benefits of GSOD, so Amarachi can take getting started with technical writing. So benefits of GSOD, Amarachi, I don't know if you're here, you can scroll back to that slide. So I'm sure that person joined you. We
Sure, no
said
problem.
one, yeah. We said one, it could help you turn your skills. Like it could give you more visibility. It could give you it could give you more visibility. You'll be able to have access to experts. You'll be able to know how things are done on an enterprise scale. Me just building docs for myself and me coming to do or writing blogs and me coming to document an entire product is quite different. Knowing how to ship documentation, different ways to deploy docs, which kind of, are we doing code as docs or whatever, right? So all these things are very important. So it gives you meaningful contributions. You gain experience. It's a cool thing on your resume. You gain experience. I can't emphasize on how much experience you gain or how many things I learned in the 69 months of GSOD. And each and every one of those things I learned is kind of like playing a huge role in whatever I'm doing right now today. And then, I mean, there's the cash. There's the cash. So I don't think there was anybody paid less than 5,000 for going to your dog star. But then I know someone that was paid 9,000 for Augustine Motors. So, all those, there's that part too. And then, I think that's it. That's it. And then you get access to community, people. I know, I have a friend that got hired. She did Augustine of Docs last year for a company, and a partner to that company hired her as an open source manager in their own company. So these things, there's network, there's connection, there's jobs, there's experience going around it. Yeah, so those are the benefits.
Definitely. Like, even Divine, the reason why he's going for all this speaking at these conferences abroad is from the connections he gathered during his GSOD thingy. So yeah, definitely. Say 9K. Yeah, some 8K, 9K. I heard someone last year like 10K. So it's a lot of money to write docs for 6 months. And honestly, exactly. And Funke, I feel like, I don't know if it was the same for you on your side, but getting in was actually a lot harder than the actual job. I don't know.
Do you
Was it the
get?
same?
Do you,
Right.
I actually didn't even think I was going to get in. I was talking to Joel because the way it happened, it was so funny. It was on the last day, and I had already made up my mind, like, oh, we're done. I mean, I already knew that AFKPI was not going to call me back. These other guys, I wasn't even interested in the first place like that. AFKPI was pushing, so it was so hard. There were so many people in there. There was a guy's proposal that I saw. Guy, his proposal was. But I don't know why he did not get in. We were using his proposal as a reference document when I got it. His proposal was that good. Right. So it's a whole lot harder than the actual job. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just
Somebody
that
said
there are so many
so
people.
yeah, somebody said I've not answered their question. I'm coming. Sorry, I want to find a slide. Also, like, girl, you submitted last minute. Me, I had to beg because I didn't do submit last minute. I had to beg they should extend it. But because I've been in their face for so long, they were like, okay, let's give this girl a chance. Because I didn't
Mm,
meet up. I didn't meet up at all.
mm,
And the other girl had already interned the other girl that got him had interned with Samsung, Amazon,
mm,
had been working with them for over a year, so that's great. Somebody was asking, what's it called?
How to get started with
Goodness.
technical writing?
Yeah, how to get, what was your question? How do you get started? There's this slide I created. I should probably share it. Although somebody mentioned Idris is going to be on the um call next year, next week or something. So basically, how to get started? I don't think there's any advanced something. I just write. If you learn, right? Obviously, there's going to be a structure, right? I think that's something. Just check out these slides. It talks about structure, how to go about it, right? This is the slide. I just shared it. So yeah, you want to be concise. There's this thread I made. I'm so sorry. I don't know. This is just a roundup. Then you want to know your audience. You want to keep it simple. Use clear languages. Follow a style guide. Use active voice. Just explain it like you explain to a child. Tell them what they need to know before they start using this article. When you're explaining, don't use big technical jargon. I don't think you've ever read a technical blog and, I don't know, open a dictionary. You do not want to be the first person. So just write it in simple English. Use active voices. Stick to one pronoun. Or you can just check this slide. It's going to help you. So if you learn something, maybe today you learned about what some basic thing like React hooks or something, you can write about, okay, and do not feel bad. Oh my goodness, like React hook is so simple. Everybody is learning about it or something. There's definitely somebody out there that is just getting started, or it's just, so that's why it's always good that when you're learning, you write, because maybe if you've advanced past this, you'll be like, is this thing not too simple or something? So yeah, there's no there's no a certificate to just be like, okay, you are qualified to start, right? Of course, you want to write something that is correct, right? Don't write rubbish, but I feel like if you know something, if you know about a topic, yeah, you're qualified to write. Does I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's sense.
Yeah, and this is a Google slide, so just check it out. Is there any more question? I don't know if we've dragged this talk.
Uh, okay. Ashaole, like, was that a mistake?
Is anybody raising up their hands?
Okay, okay. Please, does any other person has a question? If you have a question, you can just unmute your mic and ask. Else,
Something else, right? I'm going to share a link. There was an interview we had, I Amarachi and Divine, sometime last year about this in adults. I think Linda asked some quite useful questions there, so you can always check out that interview and learn more, get to know more, see if you have any helpful information there. Okay, someone is saying something. Hold on. Should you create blogs on our own, or you should do other platforms? In as much as it's great to have your own blog, I think for visibility, if you're starting out, you can start with dev.2, Hashnote, Medium. I would really, really at this point recommend everybody that has questions about technical writing to show up next week Saturday,
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
believe
Cause
Idris will iron these things out, and I mean it will be a huge plus for you to get started. Yeah.
uh,
So
yeah,
the guy's proposal that was so good, I don't have access to it any longer. But then in the slide there are two proposals that you can use that are so detailed and so good. Right. Yeah. So
yeah, definitely. If you have questions about technical writing, show up tomorrow. Because that's a different something again. So it's good to just drag this conversation.
yeah. No, no, no. Next week, Saturday. Okay. Thank you very much, Amarachi and Funke. I don't know if any other person still has any question. Else, you can actually follow them on social media, on Twitter. Um, yeah, just check OSCA Okitipupa Twitter handle. You see they were tagged recently on the pinned post, so you can like reach out to them on socials. Hopefully there is a reply. But that would be all for today if there's no question. So like I said, we are continuing the every Saturday open source event. This is the second. Next week Saturday is going to be the third, and we're going to be hosting Idris Olubisi. Idris is actually on this call, so it's nice he's on this call because he has actually noted, no, like he has idea of like everything and all your questions, so he would know how to prepare properly. Yeah, so next week Saturday, same time by 7 p.m. Um we are going to have this session. So you can like tell your friends who are interested in technical writing to like join this session. While the last Saturday for March, we're going to have a session on creating open source packages and tools. Yes, yes. So that's all for today. This session is actually recorded. So if you are RSVP'd for like the session, you would actually get a link in your mail um latest by Monday, and you also get all the links that was shared in the chat, like, and more links sent to you via mail. So in case you are interested in but I guess everybody here is RSVP, so we'll send a detailed mail and details about subsequent events. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining the session. Thank you very much, Amarachi. Thank you very much, Funke, for honoring this invitation. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think that would be all for today. Thank you, and thank you.
Bye, guys. Have a nice weekend. Bye.
Yeah. Have a nice